Did you know that your website could quietly be costing you customers? So today we're going to be going over an example. So when you're looking at this site, think of your website and maybe you might see some things that are similar. All right, guys, so we're going to get into the company here, which is Pineapple Pools. They're located here in Florida. The reason when I first chose this website to review is because they truly have a phenomenal product. And I think that there's a lot that separates them from other pool companies. And so just real quick, just scroll down the site. Overall, it's definitely not the worst website I've ever seen. There's definitely good stuff here, but what really caught my attention is that when you go here to the service section, this is like what I think is really cool about the company, is that they handle new pool constructions, pool repair, pool cleaning, summer kitchens, screen enclosures, and splash zones. And specifically what caught my attention was the splash zones. I was like, wow, it's almost like a little water park for the kids. You know, my kids would love this. And so they cover everything from the pool for the adults, the splash pad for the kids. They do outdoor kitchens as well. So it's kind of like a whole entertainment. The first thing that comes to my mind is almost like a resort, but it's on your personal property. And so I thought that was really, really, really cool. Another thing that they do that I find really interesting that sets them apart is that they do, it's a little buried here, but if you go right here, I read that they also provide a 3D rendering of what your project would look like on your property. So I'm guessing that they go around your property, they take pictures, and then they're able to kind of do a 3D model of something that they want to propose to build on there. So they work with the customer in order to do that. And so I was like, man, this is awesome. So which leads me to some of the things that this website is a little bit lacking in. And so if you've seen my other videos, I'm a real big believer in the hero section, which is this top part of your website. And this right here, if this doesn't convince the person when they land on your site, there's no reason for them to scroll down in the page or even to go to the other pages here. So this is a very, very important part of your website. And if it doesn't capture them within, like, I would say 5 seconds, maybe even 3 seconds, they're going to click away and go to another result in the Google search. You know, and that's a shame. And that's why this website is quietly costing them customers and they may not even be aware of it. And they do amazing work. So, and I personally believe that websites have to show the amazing work that companies do. It shouldn't just be like a static brochure, kind of just or a lot of generic text. So I see a little bit of that here and I'm going to talk about it. So this hero section, I would definitely fix up. And one of the things that I see here is a redundancy with like this logo here at the top. And it's also repeated here at the bottom. That's kind of a waste of time, like space, and doesn't really do anything for the customer when they're looking at it. Also, too, it just repeats the name here of the company, Pineapple Pools, and then Brilliant Pool Design in Brevard County, Florida. It's just a generic line. It doesn't really say an outcome. It doesn't really say like why the person should care or anything like that. Brilliant Pool, that kind of doesn't really mean anything for a person looking at the site. And then there's a contact us now button, which this right here is just a kind of a generic button. You know, most people would have like a free quote sort of thing. So they give a quote for free, you know, sort of thing. So what I would recommend for this section here, I actually redesigned it here really quick. I didn't really redesign it fully. I just kind of did like a little bit of a copy fix. And so what I suggest is putting every weekend feels like a getaway, which we mentioned that they do everything, you know, all this stuff here. And so it feels like a getaway. It feels like a resort that you're putting on your own property. And so I think this tagline really encompasses that and catches that idea. So every weekend feels like a getaway. They do pools, hot tubs, kitchens, patios, splash pad, designed as one space for the whole family. That right there says nobody's guessing. When you look at this hero section, brilliant pool design and Brevard County, there's no mention of all this stuff they do. And there's a lot of guessing, there's a lot of vagueness. The best part of this hero section is this image in the background because it shows the actual work. And in this industry, it's a very visual industry. And so this right here shows, but again, it's up to a lot of guessing. You know, I don't know if they did the screen enclosure, which they do. They do that, as we read. You know, they obviously do the pool, which I'd probably take that away from this image is that they did this pool. That's what I would assume. And then there's an outdoor kitchen also here on on the side here. But again, all of that is assumed. It's not really said. And so if we just add a line here, just saying what they do, again, like there's no guessing. The image actually enhances the line because the line is saying there's no guessing at all. And then again, this part here is just really cool. Like again, it encompasses all the services designed as one space for the whole family. So again, a splash pad for the kids, outdoor kitchen, the pool, the hot tub, all that. You know, it's for the whole family. So it says it here real nicely, I think, in this line. And then again, it begins with the offer, what kind of makes them different. So walk it through in 3D before a shovel hits the ground. You know, I think that if I was in the market for getting a pool done, I would definitely want to see a 3D rendering before definitely, you know, a shovel hits the ground and people start working and tearing up my yard. So I think that leads really well right there. And then the call to action, instead of it just being a generic contact us now, I'd make it get a free 3D design. the fact that they can do it for free, no commitment, no nothing, and I can see what it looks like. And I also think that the 3D design is a great opportunity to upsell. I can totally see them designing a pool, right? And then saying like, hey, what would it look like with a hot tub? What would it look like with that splash pad? And then they see it in 3D and they fall in love with it. And now you just gain more money as a company. And so I think it really like selling that 3D design is a huge opportunity that they're missing on their site. Then again, this is more optional, but this takes away some of the commitment or pressure or hesitancy they might feel from getting the 3D design. Just a little extra line here. It says free design, no pressure, see it before you commit to anything. So again, like this right here would definitely make me intrigued and to look into the rest of the website. And so I think the hero section, number one, is like the first place that I would definitely look into fixing, because if you don't fix this, there's no reason to go into the rest of the website and you lose that customer. So the second thing too is that the call to action is basically generic. It's just contact us now. So you see contact us now here, you see it here as well, and then you see it again in some other spots like contact us now here and in the contact us page. I would definitely change it to the 3D rendering offer. That should be the main call to action, and I could totally see that as a low effort ask for people to go and reach out to them. Because that's the number one job for a website, is to make the phone ring and make the forms on the website filled out. And so with that, I could totally see that being a way better way to make connections and making phone calls than just having a generic contact us now. There's no urgency, there's no reason, there's no offer there. It's just contact us. And so that's the second thing that I would fix on this. That would fix, losing customers quietly on this website. Another thing that I noticed on this site too is that they have a get a quote button here in the menu. And when you click this, it doesn't open up a new tab, which that's a big no-no in web design. You don't want it to just get away from the website, because now I'm completely off the site. And instead, it should open up in a new tab so that I can go back to the site still. The other thing too is that this form that they have, I feel like it's a complete disconnect from their site. I don't even know if this is a real site. I don't know if this is a real form or anything, because it's just, there's nothing here in terms of the context that makes me feel like secure that this is like still a part of that website. I know they have their logo here. That's a third thing that I would definitely fix, is like fix this get a quote, because the first offer would be a 3D rendering. And a lot of these service-based businesses, getting a quote is pretty common in this industry as well. And so just making that prominent rather than the contact us now. You already have a contact us page, and you could even put it in the footer, and you actually have it here in this top bar too. And I would probably redesign this so it's a little more clear. Just put the phone number here instead of call us now. But that's definitely another area. And also, as I mentioned before, that this industry is very visual, right? And when I look at the visuals that they have here, they have some here, like these are small thumbnails, but they don't have like an actual dedicated gallery page of their services and showing the work that they did for the services. When you go to their pages here, so for example, like summer kitchens, they have this small cluster of images here, but it doesn't really show the outdoor kitchens. It shows this right here, outdoor kitchen, and this right here is an outdoor kitchen. Then it's repeated here in this section right here. But they don't really have a gallery that I can like flip through to see examples of their work, or like something that I could use as a talking point as a customer, saying like, "Oh, I really like what you did here. Can you do that for me?" Or what would it be if you added this and that? Kind of like use it as a talking point, and just in general, just to show the quality of work that this company does, which I'm sure they do great work from judging from all the other pictures and even just from the thumbnails itself. So I would definitely look into being more visual and adding more galleries for each dedicated service that they do. This is not to bash on their business or anything, but I do think that someone who does this level of work and provides such a great service, especially all this like we mentioned, definitely deserves a better website. And this one just isn't doing it justice. And with these fixes, I could definitely see this working a lot better for them than against them. Because again, a website should be a dynamic sales tool. It shouldn't be like a static brochure that just sits there and collects dust. It should be something almost like your best sales associate. So again, guys, if this is something that you found interesting or anything resonated with you, feel free to comment down below your thoughts and also your website, and I might make a video about it next. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching this video. Until next time.